In this episode, we're going to be looking at the different ways that Jesus was viewed and the various titles given to him by Gnostics. Now, before we get into that, if you haven't already, please take a second to like and subscribe. It really does help me out as a small creator. Thanks for doing that. Now let's get into it. Scholars generally agree that Gnosticism was not a single unified system of thought, but rather an umbrella term that describes a number of related religious movements that were popular throughout the Roman Empire from the 1st through the 4th century CE. Despite their diversity, however, most Gnostic systems shared certain commonalities, one of which was a particular understanding of Jesus. For some Gnostics, Jesus was identified as an embodiment of the Supreme Being who became incarnate to bring gnosis or knowledge to the earth. He was thus a divine Savior who brought salvation to all who received him. This understanding of Jesus is reflected in the title Christos es Kurios Theou, which appears in the Gnostic Gospels of Philip and Mary and was used by the early church father Irenaeus to describe the Gnostics. The title can be broken down into three parts: Christos, which means anointed one; Kurios, which means Lord or Master; and Huios Theou, which means Son of God. Taken together, the title means Anointed One, Lord, Son of God. Other Gnostics, however, adamantly denied that the Supreme Being came in the flesh. They claimed that Jesus was merely a human who attained enlightenment through gnosis and taught his disciples to do the same. These Gnostics rejected the traditional Christian doctrine of the Incarnation and insisted that Jesus was simply a great teacher and nothing more. To them, he was a human who had realized his true nature and attained a state of union with the divine. This understanding of Jesus is reflected in the title Es Shua Hua, which appears in the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas and other Gnostic texts. The title can be broken down into two parts: E, which means he who or he that, and S, which means man. Together, the title means man who is. Still, other Gnostics believed that Jesus was divine, although did not have a physical body. This view is known as Docetism, from the Greek word dokein, which means to seem or appear. Docetists believed that Jesus only appeared to have a physical body, but in reality, he was without form or substance. This understanding of Jesus is reflected in the title Shua Hua, which appears in the Gnostic Gospel of Philip and other texts. The title can be broken down into two parts: E, which means he who or he that, and ousia, which means nature or essence. Together, the title means he who was without essence or he who was without nature. Among the Mandaeans, Jesus was considered a false Messiah, a perverter of the true faith. This is reflected in the title Mashiach Kadaba, which means false Messiah. According to Mandaic tradition, Jesus was sent by God to deliver a message to the people of Israel, but he perverted the message and was ultimately rejected by God. For this reason, the Mandaites consider him to be a false Messiah. It should also be noted that some Gnostics identified not Jesus but another figure as the Savior. For example, some Gnostics identified Mani, the founder of Manichaeism, as the Savior, while others identified Seth, the third son of Adam and Eve, as the true Messiah. These alternative figures are mentioned in various Gnostic texts, such as the Book of Enoch and the Gospel of Philip. So those are some of the different ways that Jesus was viewed by Gnostics, and some of the titles given to him in different Gnostic texts. It's important to note that there was no one Gnosticism, but rather a variety of Gnostic traditions that differed in their beliefs and practices. And likewise, there was no single view of Jesus among Gnostics, but a variety of views depending on the particular tradition. Nevertheless, the different Gnostic views of Jesus provide us with a fascinating and complex picture of this enigmatic figure and the various ways that he was understood by those who lived in his time and after. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. Until next time, Shalom.